Hello! This time, I'll guide you on how to start modeling for Zepeto item creation. To create Zepeto items, you need to open the Zepeto Studio Unity file. When using UModeler X for modeling in Unity, it's challenging to use the guide modeling provided by Zepeto Studio. Therefore, UModeler X offers separate assets for Zepeto Studio item creation. Click on the UModeler X icon and import the Rigging Help Meshes for Zepeto file from the assets. Confirm that it has been imported correctly. The directory structure can be created arbitrarily, but let's create a folder with the name of the item to be created inside the Contents folder. When you right-click on the Contents folder and select Folder under Create, a new folder will be created under the Contents folder. This will create a new folder under the Contents folder. Rename it to the item's name. If you accidentally clicked on something else and couldn't rename it, right-click on the created folder, select Rename, and change the name. Go into the created folder, right-click on empty space, select Create, then Scene to create a new scene. The UModeler X modeling file to be created in this scene will be automatically generated in the folder where this scene is saved, so choose the name carefully. Double-click to open this scene. Now, let's bring in the guide files for the item we are creating. When doing modeling work, you can use the mask prefab inside the Zepeto Rigging Helper Mesh folder. Drag the mask prefab into the scene view. The prefabs brought in as guides should always be loaded with position and rotation values set to 0. When dragged into the scene view, numerical values may be assigned, but when dragged into the hierarchy, they will be loaded with values of 0. If the scene view has lighting turned on, you may notice that the modeling appears to be backlit. If this is inconvenient, you can select the directional light and rotate it using the Rotate tool or the shortcut key E to adjust the direction of the light before working. Alternatively, you can also turn off the light and work under flat lighting conditions, which can be more convenient. Modeling involves not only the shape of the outline, but also the connectivity of each vertex, which forms the faces. This arrangement of faces is referred to as mesh topology. Mesh topology is crucial not only for the convenience of modeling, but also for rigging tasks that will be carried out later. The conditions for good topology are as follows. Faces should be appropriately distributed and arranged according to the object's shape. Moreover, edges should form loops, and it's advisable to avoid too many polygons clustered around a single vertex. Additionally, there are other aspects of topology work that need to be addressed for rigging purposes. Typically, areas where the mesh bends, such as joints in clothing like tops or bottoms, require additional edges. These areas, known as joint bands, need additional edges around the joint to prevent angular deformation when bent. Adding extra edges in these areas helps to smooth out the modeling when bent. For clothing items, it's easier to approach the modeling by referencing the wires of the character in the Zepeto item guide file. Aligning the major flow of the wires and adding additional edges where there are joint bands ensures smooth functioning during rigging. When creating objects like skirts, if there aren't enough vertical lines, errors may occur when the legs pass through the skirt. Clothing items should be designed with enough detail to accommodate character movement. Zepeto items have a limit on the maximum number of polygons. If you create an item with too many polygons, it might get rejected during the review process. Each Zepeto item must be modeled with a number of triangles below a certain limit. You can check the number of triangles in the modeling by selecting the corresponding part in the prefab generated when saving the scene file in Unity. You can find the number of triangles for the modeling at the bottom right when you select the relevant part in the generated prefab. If you want to check your modeling in real time, you can turn on EdMesh Info in the settings of UModeler X and select the object to see it. When modeling with only cross-sections rather than solid shapes, faces may appear or disappear depending on the direction of the face. When modeling with only cross-sections, it's important to keep in mind that the back faces are not visible. If you notice any incorrectly displayed normals, you can use the flip function in the modeling tool to reverse them. Sometimes, the surface of the model may appear faceted. In such cases, select all the faces you want to change and assign them the same smoothing group number. You will then see that the surface of the model has become smoother. It's recommended to position the pivot at the center or at coordinates 0, 0, 0. Also, ensure that the position and rotation values of transform are set to 0. If not, use XForm to reset the values. I've looked into what you need to know when modeling for Zepeto item creation. Next time, we'll explore how to create UVs and textures for modeling.